Hello there, Virgos. They say 3 is a charm, and I hope that's right because this is the 3rd attempt at recording your video. Your cards are already on the table for your first time segment, but first I want to tell you thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot report for the month of December. The first time frame that we're looking at is November 29th through December 5th. To those of you who are cross watchers, please know that you are absolutely welcome to be here to find out information and insights about what is going on with the Virgo that you care about in your life. However, please know that on this channel, energies are not interchangeable or reversible. This reading is for Virgo, about Virgo. Just because you're interacting with a Virgo doesn't mean it's about you. Please don't get that confused. Don't get it twisted. This is Virgo's reading. Now, it is a general reading, which just means that it won't apply to every single Virgo. However, most of it will apply to most of you. If you really feel like nothing here is relating, then you may want to check out your rising sign or your moon sign. Sometimes those do resonate more. Okay? So, let's start looking at your cards, shall we? What we have showing up for your environment is that there's a lot of confusion around your environment and different ways, different things that you can do to actually improve the situation in your environment. And the environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. I see you taking some time during this time frame from November 29th to December 5th to really be alone and think about what it is that you actually want to do about this environment. Which way of improving it do you want to take? Which option would be best for you? Okay. Next thing that we're looking at here is your subconscious leanings, Virgo. There is some kind of family situation that's showing up here. Family situation or tribe situation. For me, tribe is those people that we consider family that are not technically biologically family. Okay, so you have a family situation or a tribe situation that you really want to be released from. You no longer want to be as connected with this family or with this tribe member as you have been. And I think you're working subconsciously on how can I get away from this situation. And I really feel like the reason you want to get away is because this person has been saying some things to you, or this group of people maybe have been saying some things to you that have really been traumatic or have injured you, and so you want to get, you want to separate from that situation. Next thing that we're looking at, Virgos, talks to me about learning style and also communication style. Learning style. Virgos, I hate to say it, but it looks like you're going through a lot of emotional or mental pain right now. And things that are coming through to you aren't coming through as clear as they could be at the moment. I think that you're not sure what to take seriously and what to take as just some kind of cosmic joke. What else do we have for your learning style? I think that all the information that you're picking up right now, I think you're really questioning, is it valid? Is it valuable? Is it information you need to be paying attention to or not? It may be that what you're picking up is really old information that doesn't have any bearing on now. And then last but not least, there is definitely some anger that's showing up here because of some of the things that you're learning. And I mean, probably, I can't really say this is anger. This is more rage that I have, that I see you picking up, that you're really becoming enraged by some of the things that you're learning, even though you're not sure if they're applicable or if they're true or if they even matter now. Looking at communication style. I do think that you're holding back on some of your communication, although not all of it. And I feel like some of the communication that you have going on has to do with money or finances. Maybe has to do with where somebody wasn't paying attention to money or finances and they let things get out of control or get away. Communication, very much like learning there is some real rage when it comes to communication. I think that you guys could potentially have some really loud, possibly even violent outbursts, Virgo. And I know that's not going to apply to all of you, but there's a lot of rage here. I don't think I've seen this much rage in a reading before, private or for my channel. And then the other thing that's coming up here is, I feel like as far as communication, somebody has shown you their real colors, their true colors, as they say, and I think you're letting them know that you've seen their true colors and that their true colors are not impressing you. Okay? So that's what we've got going on as far as learning and communication. This seems like it could be a really tough week, Virgos. Tough week. All right, let's look at work. Okay, so it does look like you're collaborating with somebody here. Whenever it comes to work, there's also a lot of communication. This could be a lot of orders coming in. This could be a lot of requests coming in. And I see you walking away from work, so you may be taking a day off. I kind of want to look and see, you know, the collaboration doesn't look like it's going badly. All this communication at work, that's not a bad thing. Why you're walking away, why are you feeling depleted? This is going to be what we actually look at for our extended reading for this week. Is we're going to look at the details of what's going on at work. Why are you feeling the need to walk away? Why are you feeling depleted at work when you've got all of this going on? Yeah, that's what I'm going to look at in the extended. Let's look at inner work though right now. As far as inner work, I do feel like you're working along with somebody. This may be a friend. It could actually be a counselor or somebody like that too. And there's a lot of communication going back and forth. And I think that this has to do with the idea that you have been feeling depleted and, you know, why and what can you do to make sure you don't feel depleted again. Okay, but we're going to look, for the extended, we're going to look at work in the physical. You know, why does it look like you're collaborating with somebody and there's lots of communications and then you're walking away from it? So I'm going to set those cards aside. We'll look at that in the extended after I take a peek at the rest of your cards for this week. All right. The next thing that we're looking at is the lesson or experience no, not the lesson experience. I keep saying that. This is where your personality is being grown or expanded right now. This is usually pretty closely tied to the lesson or experience, but it's not exactly the lesson or experience of the time frame. So it looks like there is somebody that you felt like you were partnered up with, whether this was professionally or personally in some way, that you guys are having a hard time being on the same page. And it looks to me like this is something that makes you really unhappy, but you're coming to a point of acceptance with this idea. I think you've tried everything you can to get on the same page with this other person, but nothing's really changing, so you're coming to that point of acceptance. Let's see what you're standing up for, or what you're defending, or what you're explaining during this time frame to somebody, and then let's see how they view you after this discussion. So it looks to me like what you aspire to is a happy relationship that brings you fulfillment. And that's equilateral, equal give and take. And I think that you may even be giving somebody else advice that, you know, this is the ideal type of relationship. You may have told somebody that. I think you did, actually. And so somebody may have said to you, why would you say something like that? Like, that's not real life, or, you know, whatever the skeptical person is saying. And so you've had to explain this. And then how they see you after you've explained this is they feel like things really got turned topsy-turvy for you and that you decided to call it quits. And in calling it quits after things got topsy-turvy, they feel like you put out a lot of energy and effort to keep on keeping on without somebody. They feel like if you would have stayed with that person after everything was turned topsy-turvy, that you wouldn't have had to put out all this extra energy. Interesting. I'm kind of thinking that this relates to our person that we saw earlier in the part where your personality is growing, where you're... How did that go down exactly? Oh no, subconscious leanings maybe. Maybe this whole thing is tied around that. But either way, this does talk about somebody that you have detached from, and you detach from them after things got super hairy. They feel like, this other person feels like you're putting out a lot more energy being detached from this person than you would actually being attached to this person. But you know, it's very obvious here that you know exactly what type of person you're looking for, exactly what type of partnership that you want, and that just wasn't it. Okay. Alrighty, next we're going to look at your flex point. This is where the lesson or comes into play, and then as you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life, we'll look at what's happening because of that almost simultaneously. Okay? Alright, Virgos. Lesson or experience, there is some kind of new beginning that you have been hoping to start, and you get word that, okay, yep, let's go. Let's go. Pedal to the metal. Let's do this. So as that's happening, I feel like this is allowing you to pick up the pieces from something that sort of has fallen apart before, something that I think you walked away from. You walked away from some responsibilities before because everything was kind of falling apart. This new beginning is allowing you to get back on track with feeling successful and with finances. You're starting to be paid with this. What else is going on? What else is going on? Looks like you are looking at opportunities, and what you're doing is you're making preparations because you want to put together a nice support network for yourself and for whatever this is, this new beginning is. And so you're looking for people who can advise you on this new beginning, how to make it something wonderful and great. And then the next thing that we have coming up is where we see you at the end of this time frame, so around December 4th or 5th. Let's see what's going on with you guys. So you're feeling like you don't exactly have everything that you would like to have. You don't have enough to really share with people the way you like to share with people. But it looks to me like you are facing that reality and you're coming to terms with it. And you're doing some things now also to start to bring in more abundance so that you do have things to share with other people like you want to. Okay? So let me go ahead and wrap this up, and then we'll look at that work situation, why you're walking away from something that looks so good, and see what's going on there in the extended. I'll leave the link for the extended down in the description box below if you're interested. But for right now, thank you very much for being here and for the thumbs ups and sharing this video, and I'll see you here again in a few minutes. Welcome back, Virgos. We are looking at December the 6th through the 12th this time, seeing what kind of energies are flowing through your life at this point, what kind of influences are around, what's going on. Now you guys know the key to getting a reading ahead of time like this is so that if you notice some of these energies that you're not particularly thrilled with coming in, you want to head them off at the pass. This gives you a chance to make a game plan to make sure that the energies you don't want to see don't actually manifest in your life. Okay, that's the whole point of getting something like this ahead of time. Once again, cross-watchers, you are welcome. However, please don't get it twisted. This is Virgo's reading made for Virgo. You might be mentioned as a sideline, but these energies are not your energies. They are Virgo's energies. Okay, Virgo. Let's look at your environment to start off with here, okay? So first thing that we're having here, it looks like there are some good things happening in your environment. There's some healing coming in. So healing coming in can be healing coming into the environment where you live, between relationships, or where you work between relationships, or really wherever. your environment works out to be, but there's healing coming in. Could be between relationships, could be physical healing. It could be that the water heater broke and you got the water heater replaced with one that works well. That could be healing in an environmental setting. I also feel like whatever this is that is healing, by this healing is actually putting you in a better space mentally and emotionally as well. Although I do feel like it may be distracting you a little bit. You may want to enjoy whatever this is that's healing and not actually get the things accomplished that you would normally get accomplished in your environment. All right, next thing we have coming up talks to me about subconscious leanings during this time frame, Virgo. You are feeling very comfortable in your own skin. And I feel like you're really falling in love with who you are, falling in love with yourself. And I feel like there is somebody else in your sphere of influence that you're not as happy about as you are about yourself. And you may be really noticing, because it's highlighted here that you are really in love with yourself right now, which is not a bad thing. Actually, it's a really good thing. But when it comes up that you're really in love with yourself and there's somebody else that you're not really enjoying their company anymore, this could be because your self-esteem has come up. Now you're really comfortable in your skin. You're comfortable with who you are. So if you've got somebody who's trying to put you down, or somebody who is maybe even inadvertently putting you down, then you don't enjoy their company as much anymore because you're recognizing your own true value. So it looks like this is what's going on, and subconsciously you're working on, what's a resolution for this situation. Next thing that we're looking at is learning style and communication style during this particular time frame, Virgo. What do we have coming up? There's a couple of things happening here. So I think, Virgos, that some of you are learning some of the things that you're picking up right now. Maybe you're even learning how to be more grounded by getting out in nature. And for others of you, it's more about being around animals. If you can't be out in nature, maybe if it's even your domestic, your dog or your cat, whatever. But I do feel like you are learning about, you're learning a different perspective about life, either from animals or from being out in nature. What else is going on as far as learning? There is some scientific learning going on right now. It may even have to do with chemistry. That's kind of specific, but could be body chemistry, could be chemistry as far as makeup of products. But anyway, I do feel like there's some scientific learning going on right now. So you're learning about something that is scientifically based. And what else do we have? It does look like you're having some kind of refresher class, or else you're going over something that you are pretty familiar with, just to kind of touch up your information and keep it fresh in your mind. It seems to me like there may be some reason that you want to have easy access to this old information here really soon, and so I think you're sort of doing a crash remembrance course on that information. Now, as far as communication, I do think a lot of your communication is really peaceful. At the same time that it's peaceful, I don't think that the messages are light. I think that you are pointing out to somebody in your sphere of influence, maybe even more than somebody, where some changes need to be made. But I think that you're doing it in a very peaceful and delicate way, so as not to offend anybody or turn anybody off on the ideas. Written communication is playing a key factor during this particular time frame, and I think that emails are going to be important, but also it may be that you're sharing books with somebody. Maybe even writing a book or getting a book published. La da da da. What else do we have? I feel like you are offering communication to some of the people around you, and I think that the communication that you're offering is solid, it's good, and it's actually beneficial or advantageous to them. And I get the sense here that even as you're offering this, I think you recognize that not everybody is going to use this information. And it looks to me like even as you're offering this information, you're also kind of detaching and sitting back and looking to see, okay, who's going to take advantage of what I'm telling them and who isn't. All right, so that's learning and communication style. Next thing that we're going to look at here has to do with work. Workity work, 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 work. All right, so when I'm looking at work, I don't see you being very happy with the work that you're doing right now. I know last time we saw some really interesting stuff about work, and in the expanded it got even more interesting. So I'm not too surprised to see that you're not too happy about work right now, especially if you're doing the same thing that we saw in the expanded for last week. It looks to me like you really don't feel like you have the energy to do what's being put in front of you. And I don't think that you're feeling very hopeful about what this actually accomplishes. I just don't think that you like it. And it's interesting because I know in that expanded reading we saw that you're actually successful with. And I don't change that. I just feel like how you feel about it is not very positive, even if you are successful with this. And it's sort of dragging your energy to be having to do this. Yeah, that's all I want to say about that. Let's look at inner work. I think I want to go back to regular work. I think part of the reason that work is feeling so icky right now is because it feels like you have people who are very close to you who would be completely opposed to what you're doing right now. I'm even hearing the phrase brother against brother. Okay, so let's go back to inner work. What is the inner work right now? I think that the inner work right now is recognizing that there is something going on in your life that doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit well with you, even as far as intuitively, like according to your own guidance system, you just don't feel like you belong there. And the inner work has to do with this idea of acknowledging, not sweeping those signals or messages under the rug and pretending everything's okay. The inner work has to do with acknowledging that this is not where I want to be, or this is not what I want to be doing. And, coming to that acknowledgement. What you can do about that, exactly sure, but the inner work is just being really honest with yourself about how you're feeling about what you're doing and how you're feeling about yourself in general. Nothing can be adjusted or fixed until we actually acknowledge how we feel. All right. Let's look at that part of you that's growing or expanding as we go through this particular time frame. Okay, so people are letting you know how much they appreciate the energy and the effort that you've put into some kind of goal that not only benefits yourself, but also benefits somebody else. And there is some kind of good news about money here. So you could be getting a bonus or a gift for the work that you've done, or you could be just receiving pay from the work that you've done. But there's good news here showing up about money or about material goods. And once again, we have the walk away card. So this is telling me that you are walking away. I almost want to assume that you're walking away from what we saw in that expanded reading for last week, but I don't really want to assume that. Once again, we have a situation where you're walking away from something that actually looks successful and looks good, looks like it's paying off. So I think we are going to we're going to pull that. We're going to look at that again this week because that's a walk away there that just doesn't make sense. I want to check that out and see if you're walking away from what you walked towards last time, or what exactly is going on here. So that's going to be in the expanded. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about those things that you stand for, those things that you defend, those things that you may be having to explain to somebody during this time frame, if they will hear you. I think you're not feeling very motivated about something, and you really are, you're trying to focus on closing out a cycle here of ending something. And I think that I think that whatever this is, that you're really focused on closing out. I think that just being in this situation has you feeling very unenergetic and apathetic. When we look at how this other person feels after you've explained the situation to them, they see you as somebody who is collaborating with someone else, and they feel like, and a collaboration can be an employer-employee type of relationship. It can be friends, it can be business colleagues. So they're seeing you as collaborating with somebody, but they're also seeing you as the most responsible thing for you to do would be to release yourself some way from this collaboration. That's how they're viewing you at this point. Okay. All right, next thing that we're looking at does talk to me about your flex point, Virgo. This is where you have a lesson or experience show up in your life, which starts to change the direction of how things go for you, changes how things form up and sort of the trajectory. Okay, so what we have showing up for the lesson or experience, there is a major commitment that we're seeing here, and I think that you really like this commitment, but it's not a long-term one. This is not a long-term commitment. This is just a short commitment. This is interesting. I think this showed up, something sort of similar showed up in Cancer's reading as well. Or maybe it was Leo. I do think it's more than one though. Anyway, you have this commitment. You love the idea of this commitment, but right now, no plans currently exist towards making this commitment into a manifest reality. Okay? And at the same time, what's going on here? It looks like there's somebody in your sphere of influence who very much is independent, probably more of a feminine energy, very much is independent-minded. She's very self-sufficient. She has goals. She has ambitions. She has dreams. And she is just fine being on her own, but she's also, if the right partnership happens to come along, she's cool with that too. But it's going to have to be the right one. She's going to be picky about it because she's got things in her life that she wants to do, and she's not going to accept a partner interfering with that. So you've got somebody in your sphere of influence that's like this, and I think there is some communication going on between the two of you about coming into some type of reciprocal relationship. Now, I can't tell from these cards if we're talking business or if we're talking romantic, but that goes right along with this idea of the commitment and the idea that you really like this commitment, but no plans currently exist. You're talking with this other person about coming into some type of reciprocal thing. So I'm thinking that's the commitment that we're looking at there. You're talking to this person. I don't know what they're saying. Oh, and it looks like this person is, oh, is it? Or is this another person? It's the same person. Okay. So Virgos, it looks like this person that you're talking to about getting into a reciprocal type of relationship is somebody that is from your past. Somebody who in the past was really low on resources. And basically what they've done since they've been with you the last time, or since you guys have really communicated the last time, is they have taken a look at opportunities in front of them. They've had disappointments, don't get me wrong. They have, and they just didn't pay that much attention to them. And so they've been looking at opportunities in front of them and taking advantage of those and moving forward with those. So this is somebody that I think when they come into your life, you can almost see them saying, I've come a long way, baby. I feel like that. I don't feel like, actually, to be honest, I don't feel like you're so happy to see them come into your life. But it is good to know that they've been able to move forward. And that's interesting because it's the same person here, and I think you like the idea of committing with this person. So here's the thing. This person probably isn't your favorite person because of the history that you have with them, whether it's romantic or professional. Probably not your favorite person, but you're seeing that they've taken advantage of opportunities and they've grown a lot with those opportunities. And I think that you're feeling like this person is at a level where you would be able to come into some kind of partnership with them that would be an equilateral partnership that would work even though this isn't your favorite person. Okay? That's what we have going on there. Now, where do we see you at the end of this particular time frame, Virgos? We see you coming into a time where you really have a choice to make. And that choice to make has to do with this idea of being paid. Where do you want to be paid from? Where do you want to put your energy and effort so that you receive payment from something? And it looks like when you're making this decision, you want to make sure that you've got a really nice solid perspective, because your decision could cause things to really change in a big way. And you just want to make sure that you're ready for whatever change that might bring. Whenever you make this decision, make sure you've counted the costs before you make this decision about what it is that you want to do to get paid, or who you want to have pay you, that type of thing. Who you want to even go into business with, for some of you, is what I'm hearing. Be really careful with this decision. We do have some unknowns coming up. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and end this and then look at this lesson or experience where you're walking away from something that people are very happy about you doing, and where you've received some kind of good news about money or material goods, and yet you're walking away because you feel depleted. We're going to take a look at that in the expanded and see what shows up there. And then I'll come back a little later and we'll look at your next week. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I do appreciate you spending some of your precious time with me. Okay, Virgos, this time we're going to look at December the 13th through the December the 19th. See what kind of energies and influences we have moving through your life at that point. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the thumbs ups, for subscribing to the channel, for sharing these videos with others who find them beneficial and enlightening. And thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions. And of course, thank you to those of you who are coming in on the Super Chats whenever I'm live. I appreciate all of you guys' support at every single level. All of that support allows me to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Right now we're just putting down cards. We're going to see what shows up here. This reading is for Virgo, is about Virgo. Cross-watchers, you're welcome, as long as you keep in mind that what information you're getting here is about the Virgo that you're interested in. It is not about you. Alrighty. La, da, 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 da. First thing that we're looking at for this time frame is your environment, Virgos. Once again, we have a lot of confusion showing up in your environment. It looks like there's something that you're trying again, or that you're giving a second chance to. But I think that even with giving a second chance to this or trying this again, I just don't see it going anywhere. Don't see it going anywhere. So if you're trying to fix that furnace, this may be the time when you have to just have it replaced. If this is about a person, this is the time when you may just have to let it go. Let's look at your subconscious leanings. Oh, we see you as being very independent and self-sufficient, But you're in this situation or relationship with somebody that you're close to that is not reciprocal. You're putting in all the energy and effort. They are receiving all the energy and effort. I guess, you know, there's all the energy and effort. You're giving it, they're receiving it. That's reciprocal, right? No. No. You're giving everything. They're taking everything. And in your subconscious mind, you're trying to figure out, how can I change this? What can I do with this that's going to make this something that is more reasonable? Okay, so that's what's going on in your subconscious. Next, we're looking at learning style and also communication style. So what do we have here? Looks like there's something that Spirit is actually drawing your attention to for you to pay attention to and to learn about during this time frame. Interesting. So this could be something that you're understanding during meditation, or that you're going to church and the sermon is right on this topic and you're like, oh, never thought of that before. But there's something coming up where Spirit is definitely drawing your attention towards something that you need to learn or understand. It's interesting. I also feel like there's something that you're learning about. Once again, this is something that is really making you angry. I think we saw that in your first week, but this is something that's really making you angry. And it looks to me like there is some type of multi-pronged plan that you're finding out about that is intended to harm. I don't think it's intended to harm. It's intended to harm someone, and you're finding out about this. Also, I'm picking up that you may have even been inadvertently involved in this without realizing what it was. And I think that's where this rage comes in. Also, learning style. There is some transformation that you're making, and I think that not only are you enjoying making this transformation, and does it feel very empowering and liberating, absolutely, but I think you're also learning a lot of things that you were never able to really take the time to focus on before as you're making this transformation. Communication style. I feel like your communication during this time frame could be kind of moody. Could be kind of moody. How you talk to somebody may depend quite a bit on the mood that you're in right then. I also feel like you've got a little bit of this energy about money talks, BS walks, as AC/DC would say, coming in here. And so I do think that you're communicating with money. Maybe you're letting somebody know you care about them by getting them a gift that you're paying some good money for. But communication coming up with money. Maybe you're supporting somebody politically and so sending some money, or maybe you're supporting a charity with money and giving that way. But part of your communication does have to do with finances, financial, and money, and material goods. What else do we have here? What else do we have here? What else do we have here? I do think that you are also communicating with somebody about being really smart. And I think this is actually a twofold message. Really smart about their health and your health. Kind of feel like you guys may be teaming up to do something. Maybe you're making an agreement to do an exercise program, or making an agreement to walk away from addiction. Something here where you're making an agreement with somebody to be smart about improving your health, and also for some of you also, and for others of you, or for improving your long-term finances, long-term goals and finances. For some of you, it's going to be both of those. For some of you, it's going to be either or. I think for a lot of you, it's going to be both, though. All right, so that's communication and learning. Next. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. Next thing we're looking at is work. What do we have here? Oh, man. We're going to investigate work again. I can just tell you right now. That's going to be the expanded this time around. There's lots and lots of communication going on back and forth with work. However, there is this sense that midway through the week, there's attachment or this cutting off from work. Somebody may be saying, you know what, why don't you take a vacation for a couple of weeks or for a couple of days? And this is not something that you're really happy to hear about. This is actually causing heartache or great sadness. We're definitely going to look at that and see what's going on, because you've just had some funky stuff happening with work, and we need to clarify that because I'm nosy. Hopefully you guys will want to know what's going on too, and by the extended readings we'll find out. Alright, next thing that we're looking at is that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded during this time frame. You are feeling all fired up and feisty about something. You've got your energy coming back, and this has to do with moving forward in some kind of partnership. And as you're moving forward with this partnership, there is some truth coming out. I think this is good. It feels like it's a good thing, whatever this truth is. It feels like somebody was just kind of holding back and not sharing this information with you, but now that you're collaborating and working together, they feel safe enough to go ahead and tell you about this. And I think this is information that you're happy to have, actually. Next thing we're looking at is that thing that you have to explain or stand for or defend, and how the person that you're talking to about this feels about you after this conversation. So what do we have? We have a little bit of unhappiness because there's been some kind of surprise that came in, and you had to really focus on dealing with the surprise. All right, and so this is what you're explaining to somebody or defending to somebody, and how they feel about you is they feel like you are doing the responsible thing with this situation. They feel like you've got a lot on your plate that you're trying to juggle, and honestly, they're just admiring the way that you're handling everything. That's kind of nice. Everybody likes a little admiration now and then, right? Okay, Virgos, next, what we have next is, this is actually a flex point. This is where things are going to go a different direction as you learn or experience something. You're definitely making a decision here. You're making a decision here that actually makes you feel very fulfilled and happy, but has somebody feeling really angry at you for making this decision. They're feeling like they kind of knew what you were going to decide and you went the other way, and now they're really thrown by that, and they are not happy. Not happy. You're happy, but they're not happy. Alrighty, what else is going on at the same time frame? Ooh, yeah, this is somebody that you were partnered up with, and I think their not happiness as you are happy is really showing you their true colors. And yeah, it comes up here, kind of verification of what I said before. They like to be in charge, and they like to think that, you know, they pull your puppet strings. So if you made a decision, they like to think it's because they indicated that you should make a decision this way or that way. Well, you went the other way. They're not very happy. They're showing their true colors. Whenever we see somebody showing their true colors, basically they're throwing a fit in one way or another, whether it's low-key or whether it's massive drama. They're throwing a fit. Okay, so this is where we're seeing you. You're happy. This other person is not happy. This is just expansion and verification on that. And then what else is going on? I think you're taking some time alone here. You're really, whatever this is that you've decided, you're really enjoying this decision, and it has made you feel liberated. Liberated and free. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm sorry your person is not liking it, but I'm liking it. Looks very good and healthy for you. I don't know why your person can't be happy for you. Alrighty, next thing that we're looking at is where you end this time frame. So things are loosening up as you're ending this time frame. I feel like that has to do especially with financially. It looks to me like there was a decision that was made about you, that was made in really an unfair way. Maybe somebody made this decision out of anger or with not enough information really, but this decision was made unfairly about you. And I think that part of it has you unhappy. I think you would like to think that you got a fair shake on whatever this was, but at the same time, this decision has actually loosened things up for you financially. So how much do you want to look a gift horse in the mouth, you know? Even if the person made the decision in a corrupt way, if it's helping you financially, yeah, I don't know how much you want to protest that type of decision. Okay, so let me go ahead and wrap this up, then we'll take a look. We'll take a look at work. We'll see what's going on here and your extended or your expansion reading, and you'll have the link for that in the description box below. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Thank you for being here. Welcome back, Virgo. This time we're going to be doing the time frame from December 20th through December 26th. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate Christmas. La da 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 da. We're just going to check the energies coming in. Remember, this is a general reading. Not everything I see here will apply to every single Virgo, but most of what I see here will apply to most of you. If you really feel like you don't relate, you may want to check your rising sign or your moon sign readings. Those of you who are cross-watchers, you are welcome. However, this is not about you. This is about the Virgo. La da da da. Energies are not reversible on my channel. I kind of think that's trash reading, if you ask me. If you don't know who you're reading for, then what's the point, is what I have to say about that. Excuse me. All right, Virgos, let's take a peek. Let's take a peek at your environment during this particular time frame. Oh, it looks like you're really missing somebody right now. Really missing somebody right now. And it feels to me like you're not able to be in your normal environment that you would be for this time of year. And I think that this has you feeling really frustrated. Frustrated is what I'm going to say, but also I think you're missing a person as well. A person or persons. Next thing that we have coming up talks to me about your subconscious leanings, Virgos. So you're really thinking about what is the truth about a situation, and I think you're looking at a reciprocation that, or excuse me, at a situation that seems to be reciprocal, seems to be pretty even transaction, even exchange of energy here. And you're thinking about that this is with somebody. This situation includes somebody who is very naturally enthusiastic. They're good at inspiring other people towards their vision. Great leader. They may be a little bit immature. And this person is, I mean, when they move forward quickly, but they don't always maintain energy for a long time. And I think that you're seeing the truth of this person. You're seeing all the good attributes of this person, but you're also recognizing that it could be a challenge whenever this person runs low on energy on whatever it is they're leading for you right now. And so your subconscious is really working around this situation and what's the best thing to do with this situation as it progresses. The next thing that we're looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. I do feel like you're in some type of competitive situation as far as something that you're learning. There may be contests that you're participating in that you can't help but learn things as you participate in these contests. This definitely could be something that's happening. I also feel like you may very well be taking classes, or you're learning something from somebody who is a mentor or a guide. You may even be paying for like a life coach or a spiritual therapist or something along those lines as well, as far as learning. What is this? Virgos, you guys are learning how to dream bigger than you've dreamed before. Some of you, I think you're learning how to dream and not just be so in touch with the tangible, what's right in front of you. Very cool and sweet and cute. All right. Of course, you know, you're being read by a water sign, so dreams are kind of part of my everyday reality, so that's why it seems cute to me and sweet. All right, so anyway, let's look at your communication style. I think as you're going through this time frame, communication might be a little bit challenging. There may be a lot of people around you who are talking over you, who, you know, it seems like there's a lot of excited energy. Everybody's excited to say something, and not so many people are excited to hear something. So not a lot of people around you listening right now, everybody trying to speak. And I have to say, I feel like you're right in that crowd. Unless you hear this and you decide to change that, I feel like you're right in that crowd. You're talking over other people too. Maybe because they talked over you and it frustrated you, but either way, it's not productive. It's not productive. But the excitement is nice. La da da da. What else do we have? For a lot of you, I think you're going to church, to mass, to mosque, to whatever is your choice of religious ceremony during this time frame. Communicating with God in a very formal way or a very formal place. And then what else do we have for communication? I think that you're communicating to a lot of different people how much you care for them. Of course, Christmas is in this time frame, so you know, a lot of these communications can be in gifts or stocking stuffers or whatever, but I do think that you are acknowledging a lot of people and how you feel about them during this time frame. Woot woot. Next, we are looking at work. What do we have at work? Oh, goodness, we have a good card here. 10 of Cups. This tells me that you're very happy at work. That work is comfortable, is satisfying, it's fulfilling. It may be that you're on vacation and you're just relaxing, and that feels very satisfying or fulfilling. We are talking about Christmas week here. But if you're actually at work, you're finding that satisfying or fulfilling. If you're not working, that's satisfying or fulfilling during this time frame. I do feel like for whatever it is that you are doing to keep yourself busy during this time frame, you are sharing some space with somebody who has strong narcissistic tendencies. Strong narcissistic tendencies, you want to look this up for a more complete idea, but the brief overview is this is somebody that appears to most of the world as a salt of the earth type of person, an upstanding guy or upstanding gal, you know, but the more you get to know them, the more you realize they throw fits, they get positive, they are emotionally toxic, verbally toxic, maybe even more than that. And so this is somebody you're actually sharing your environment with. And I think that this person in your environment is bringing some... wait, no, this is work. Yeah, this is somebody that you are working with. And I feel like this person is actually bringing confusion to work. I think they're kind of coming in halfway through the week and bringing confusion to a situation where you felt perfectly happy, perfectly fulfilled, perfectly satisfied. Everything was going fine. They show up on the scene. Now things are all confusing. Things are dramatic. You're not quite sure exactly what's going on here. So what is your inner work? Inner work is for you to make the decision that you're going to focus on happiness. That's inner work during this time frame because that's what brings us good things. We like having good things, right? Okay, Virgos. Next, we're looking at that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. What do we have? You're definitely preparing for, oh, you're preparing for something, all right. There's something that you've been collaborating with somebody on, and you have been preparing to collaborate with this person. However, they're not able to hold up their end of the collaboration. And I think rather than just take full responsibility for whatever this collaboration is, I think you kind of put it on hold and you stop to think about things and find the best perspective on this. And I think what happens is when this person says, you know what, I can't do my share of this, I think you pretty much call it off and you move on to other things that you can work on instead. That's where I see you growing or expanding right there. Also, I would need to say that what's coming through is that I think this person is really shocked that you're just dropping it. I think they thought that you would just go ahead and continue it with or without them. And I think that they really wanted you. They had reasons to want you to continue on without them. I think they still stood to benefit from that, even if they weren't actually participating anymore. And so when you decide to just drop it and move on, I think that they start questioning, well, what if I could have adjusted this or changed that and actually been there too? You know, I think they're starting to regret that they decided so lightly not to carry their part of the load there. All right, next thing that we have coming up talks to me about something that you stand for, have to explain or defend during this time frame, and then how this other person feels about you after you've had this conversation or confrontation, whatever it works out to be. So it looks like technically you had a choice about something, but you didn't really feel like it was much of a choice. You there was one way to go, and that one way to go was to start off on something new, and maybe even turn your back on something that you were doing on the side as far as to make income as you start this new thing. You might have had to sort of back off of that. Okay? And so how this other person sees you after you've talked about this is they see you as putting out a lot of energy and effort and really being great at creating the things that you want. And I think they are feeling like whatever this was that you turned your back on, they're feeling like, well, they must not have wanted to do it anymore. They're not feeling like Virgo like you felt, which was that you really had no choice but to turn your back on it. They're feeling like, well, they turned their back on it because, you know, they weren't as interested anymore as they used to be. All right. Next thing that we're going to look at, Virgos, is your flex point, and your flex point is where things start to change for you. You have a lesson or experience, you incorporate that into your life, and then things start to form up in a little bit of a different direction. Okay, so we have a situation where you're feeling defeated here, and there's a lot of impatience. It looks to me like what happened is you went back to something that had a negative influence on you. It had held you back or dragged you down. Went back to it thinking, you know what, I can handle it this time. We can make it better this time. And rather than healing up that situation or making it better, it got a hold of you and gave you a sound ass whipping, basically. All right, so what's going on at the same time that this is happening? Yeah, this looks like it took a toll on your finances. You're feeling like you're not as abundant as you would like to be. And when it comes to the idea of starting this up again, now look, we've already started it back up. You're thinking about back up again. You're deciding, you know what, I want to take some time and think about this before I jump back into this thing again. All right? What else is happening during this time frame? You've got some major changes that are happening, and I think this is a major change in your attitude. It looks like you've gone from a position where or you're going from a position where things weren't good for you as far as decisions you were making regarding your budget, your income, your spending, things along those lines. Now you're coming into a place where you're being much more analytical, you're setting some goals, you're focusing on them, and you're following through with those goals whenever it comes to finances. All right, where do we see you at the end of this time frame? What do we have? You are making some long-term plans because you are coming to the point of acceptance that there is something that is just not working out for you. Now, this could be a relationship that's not working out for you, or this could be work that you're just not working, and you're kind of coming to acceptance of the idea that you're not working. So I think I am going to look at this point of the reading in the expanded and look and see, is this in personal life as far as a relationship? Is this in work life? Where is this actually technically falling? I want to find out about that, and hopefully you'll want to find out about it too. I will put a link for the expanded reading in the description box below. Thank you very much for being here and for putting thumbs ups and for sharing this video, and I'll be right back. See you soon. Welcome back, Virgo. This time we are looking at the time frame from December the 27th through January 2nd. That is including New Year's, so Happy New Year's to everybody. We're just going to put down some cards here as soon as I feel like the shuffle is finished, and we're going to see what kind of energies are floating in for this time frame, influencing and impacting your experiences, Virgos. Let's find out. Let's find out, Virgo. This is a general reading. That means not everything that I see here will apply to every single Virgo, but most of it should apply to most of you. If you really feel like none of this stuff is things that you can relate to, then you may want to check your rising or your moon sign. Sometimes those are more relatable. Looking at your environment during this time frame, Virgo, I am seeing a lot of stress. And the stress has to do with a toxic situation that you're trying to be away from. And I do see that you have somebody who is helping you or assisting you or is dealing with this at the same time as you, and that's somebody who is very stable, very grounded, very secure. I feel like you may be talking to this person about this situation in the environment that is so toxic, that is stressing you out. All right, let's look next. Actually, we're going to expand on that situation in the environment. I don't like to pick a section that early, but I think we're going to look at that one more in depth for the expanded reading. Let's look at subconscious leanings right now, though. So, subconscious leanings, happiness, happiness, happiness. Okay, so here's the thing. You have a choice in front of you, but you feel like it's not really a choice. Technically, it's a choice, but you're feeling like not all the options are so hot. And so you are looking at, okay, interestingly enough, I feel like you're looking at the idea of being happy all on your own without being coupled up with somebody or connected with somebody if this is professional. Or the other option is being with this person who loves you. There's someone out here who loves you. And so spending time or being with that person. So there's your choice of, well, I'm really happy on my own over here, but this person really loves me a whole lot. What do I do? So your subconscious is really working on that situation. What do we have coming in as far as learning style and as far as communication style? La da 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 da. Highly, highly intelligent, picking up information quickly. Sometimes when people around you don't even realize that you're picking up information, you are picking up information and slicing straight through to the truth. I feel like when somebody tries to tell you something that's kind of half true, you already know. Nobody has to clue you in. You know what's up. I do think, remember we saw earlier in the month where you're learning how to dream big? I think that now you are like learning some things about how to move towards those big dreams that you're having now. And also I think you're learning about your emotions during this time frame, especially where it pertains to a particular area of your life. And I want to say that area has to do with health. Okay, now let's look at communication. Communication. I think that you are cutting straight to the chase in your communication during this time frame. There's not a lot of small talk or chit chat. You're just coming straight to what is the point right up off the bat, at least in some particular area. You do have another area where you've got a lot of different emotions going on, and I think that you are communicating about those. For some of you, I feel like that is actually going on with some type of journaling project you're doing, although not for all of you, but for some of you. And then for others of you, communication, I think there are some people in your life that I think that you think about them, but communication with them is very, very sparse. I don't think you've forgotten about them, but I just feel like it just shows up here that there's not a lot of communication going on, even though these are people that are, or this is a person that's important to you. Next thing that we're looking at is work. Let's take a peek at this. I feel like there's something going on where you're really impatient with work, and you've kind of gone back to this old way of doing things that actually was not as productive for you as you were hoping that it would be back then. I think it may not be as productive for you right now either. This looks like this is not my most favorite, bestest work situation to see, actually. And I think that you may even be moving on to a different position within the company you're in, or to something completely different, maybe even a completely different industry, but probably even a completely different company could be happening there. There's definitely a shift when it comes to your work energy, whole new perspective. Next, we're looking at that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now. It does look like there is something that you are incorporating into your experience much more than you used to. It used to be a high priority for you, and you had sort of put it on the back burner for a while. You're coming back to that and making it a priority again. And I think that you may not be so sure about how you feel about it right now, but I feel like even though you're not so sure how you feel about bringing this thing back, I do feel like you are getting yourself prepared. You're getting ready for whatever may come out of bringing this thing back, this thing or this situation or this person. All right, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about those things that you stand for, you defend, or you explain during this time frame. And after you have that conversation with somebody, how they see you. What do we have? What do we have? So it looks like there's somebody that you've taken under your wing that you've been giving advice to or mentoring or whatever, but it hasn't been an even energy exchange. You feel like you're depleting yourself to help this person, anything back from that situation, and it's leaving you a little bit dragging. So how this other person sees you is they see you after you have this conversation as somebody who plans for the long run and somebody who really has a short burn time, like instead of being a bonfire, you're a firework. Okay, so they're basically feeling like you are really good at inspiring, at leading, at motivating people for the short term, but not for the long term. And I actually have that here twice as to how they're viewing you after this. So they're just feeling like it's not a matter of that there's no energy exchange. They're just feeling like you're good for the sprints, but not for the long hauls, basically. La da da. It's amazing how different perspectives can be, isn't it? Outside perspective and an inside perspective. Who knows you better than you? Okay. All right. Next thing that we're looking at is your flex point. This is where something happens that is a lesson or an experience. And as this lesson or experience happens, we're going to look at what happens as you incorporate it into your life. And then we'll look at where we see you at the end of this month. Well, really probably the 1st and 2nd of January, but at the end of this time frame. So lesson or experience. This really is about financial stuff, Virgo, and I think you're feeling like, oh my gosh, where have my finances gone? We've got a card that talks about impulse spending or spending outside the budget. It also talks about not bringing in the cash flow needed to cover the budget. And you're even spending into your savings. You're digging into your savings and spending money during this time frame. This is not what I see you as characteristic at. I mean, I guess you could. You're very tangible. You like nice things, but you're also very aware. And so I kind of see you guys as better with money than this. I don't see this as the normal situation for you. So what's going on at the same time that this is happening? You're moving back into some type of competitive situation and you're holding your own there, but not without effort. You're definitely making a conscious effort to hold your own in that competitive situation you're coming back into. Also, what's happening? It looks to me like you may be getting a divorce, or you're definitely coming out of some type of contract or long-term commitment. And it looks to me like this is actually very empowering for you. This allows you a whole new start, and it allows you to start from a much more secure foundation, because whatever this commitment was built on was not a secure foundation. And so this allows you to go ahead and start setting up something that is more secure for yourself. All right, next thing that we're looking at, where you are at the end of this time frame. Getting over a heartache. Getting over a heartache. I still feel like you don't have exactly as much money as you would like to have to do all the things you want to do. I think you really would like to take people out to eat or to share things, you know, buy things for people. I don't see you having enough money to do that just right now. But I do see you healing from a heartache, which is very positive, and coming to the understanding that one that you just really don't enjoy spending time around anymore. And part of healing from that heartache is coming to that realization. Okay, so I am going to take a peek in your extended at your environment and see a little bit more specifically about what's going on there. What's that toxic thing that's stressing you out? Who is this person that is trying to help you stay grounded in all of this? I'm going to take a peek at that. And the link will be down below. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for thumbs ups, for sharing, for subscribing, and thank you to those of you who do super chats when I'm live. Thank you also to those of you who are ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions. It is because of all of you guys' support at every single level that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. And I will see you here for a private reading or a private Reiki session. And if not, then I'll see you back on the next video. Peace out.